Humans keep fighting after death. I know that sentence is impossible. I recorded it anyway. Our science rejects such things. Our history rejects such things. Even fear rejects such things. Yet I watched it happen. I am Archivist 7 of the Keth Dominion. I was not built for war. I was built to explain it. The Council trusted my species because we do not imagine monsters where none exist. That was our first mistake. The second was believing humans were just another young civilization. They had crossed only 12-star systems. They owned fewer ships than half the Council members. Their weapons were primitive. Their economy was unstable. Their borders shifted every cycle. Everything about them suggested weakness. So the Council demanded they surrender every military vessel. It was called the Peace Accord. Every elder race approved it. Every simulation predicted compliance. Humans smiled. That should have warned us. I concluded the smiles meant surrender. I was wrong. Humans smile during surrender. Humans smile before victory. Humans smile when terrified. I never learned the difference. The council chamber floated above the blue gas giant of Redis. Thousands of delegates watched. Millions more streamed the event across civilized space. The human ambassador entered alone. No guards. No visible weapons. No armor. I marked this as a ritual of submission. Later, I learned humans often hide courage beneath ordinary clothing. The ambassador bowed. Peace is valuable, he said. Every translator confirmed the meaning. The council relaxed. So did I? Then he added 3 words. We will comply. Celebration spread across the chamber. Several delegates applauded. I archived the moment as the end of humanity's military history. Again. I was wrong. The disarmament began immediately. Ship after ship entered council inspection docks. Missiles dismantled. Shield cores extracted. Artificial battle mines erased. Every inspection passed. Humans never protested. Humans even thanked the inspectors. I interpreted gratitude. Now I know humans often thank those they intend to outlive. 3 cycles passed peacefully. Trade increased. Borders stabilized. Council news declared the human question solved forever. Then the Vorik arrived. No warning. No negotiations. Just gravity tears opening across 12 systems at once. The Vorik were not invaders. They were consumers. Planets were food. Stars were fuel. Civilizations were accidents. Our oldest records barely mention them. Most believe they were extinct. Extinct things should stay extinct. The first fleet disappeared in 6 minutes. No distress call. Only silence. Silence spreads faster than panic. Soon, every emergency channel screamed at once. The council ordered full mobilization. Every member race launched its defensive fleets. Except humanity. Their fleet was gone. We had dismantled it ourselves. I felt relief. Humans would survive behind council protection. Weak species always hid behind stronger ones. That was the natural order. Humans did not hide. Instead, thousands of civilian cargo ships left Earth. Mining vessels. Hospital transports. Construction barges. Agricultural freighters. Even passenger liners. My assistants laughed. I logged the behavior as irrational migration. One junior analyst suggested evacuation. I rejected the theory. The ships flew toward the Vorik. No prey travels willingly toward a predator. Unless the prey has gone mad. I believe humanity had finally broken under fear. Then another impossible report arrived. Every civilian ship carried volunteers. Not soldiers. Volunteers. Families. Engineers. Mechanics. Teachers. Artists. Retired workers. Children stayed behind. Everyone else departed. I asked why. Human records gave the same answer again and again. Someone has to go. That phrase confused me. Go where? Do what? No tactical explanation existed. The council ignored the reports. The Vorik mattered more. Entire defense lines collapsed. Our plasma walls evaporated. Quantum shields shattered. Planetary fortresses vanished. The Vorik did not attack like living beings. They erased resistance the way fire erases paper. Every victory they achieved only accelerated the next one. Refugees filled every jump lane. Governments disappeared. Ancient alliances dissolved. Panic became law. Still, human civilian ships continued forward. I watched one transmission. A cargo captain recorded a message. He laughed while drinking a dark liquid humans seemed addicted to. I assumed it was a narcotic. Later I learned it was simply called coffee. Humans willingly poison themselves with stimulants before impossible tasks. No logical species does this. He raised the cup. If this works, he said, tell my wife I was right. Transmission ended. No strategy. No explanation. Only confidence. Confidence without evidence is insanity. Or humanity. The council finally demanded answers. Earth sent only shipping manifests. Millions of tons of steel. Fusion reactors. Industrial printers. Medical supplies. Seeds. Why seeds? The Vorik destroyed ecosystems. Seeds had no military value. I marked the cargo as administrative error. Weeks later, I realized humans rarely transport only what they immediately need. They carry tomorrow inside today's cargo. I wish I had understood sooner. The first civilian convoy reached the fallen colony of Ishkur. The planet was dead. Atmosphere burning. Cities flattened. Orbit filled with wreckage. Vorik harvest engines still operated across the surface. The convoy should have fled. Instead, it landed. Every ship. No weapons. No escort. No chance. Council observers watched in horror. The Vorik ignored them at first. Machines do not fear civilians. Neither did we. Construction drones poured from the cargo holds. Factories unfolded like metal flowers. Reactors activated. Medical stations inflated. Communication towers rose. Within hours, a city existed where death still ruled. I reported mass psychological collapse among humans. No sane creature builds homes inside a battlefield. Then the Vorik noticed. Their harvest engines turned. Massive. Silent. Patient. They moved toward the newborn settlement. The council ordered immediate evacuation. Humans refused. My processors struggled to understand. Every calculation ended the same way. Certain death. Yet nobody ran. Instead, more civilian ships arrived. Then more. Then more. One observer whispered that humans were reinforcing failure. I agreed. Failure was obvious. The Vorik closed the distance. Orbital scanners predicted impact in 23 minutes. Still the humans built. Still they planted seeds. Still they connected power lines. Still they assembled hospitals. Hospitals. Before the battle even began, I concluded humans expected enormous casualties. Preparing for death seemed strangely practical. I almost admired it. Then a child appeared on one of the live feeds. A child. She handed a construction worker a small green plant. He carefully placed it into black soil beneath a sky filled with enemy machines. I froze. Why? Why protect something so fragile? Why spend precious seconds planting life when death stood overhead? No answer fit. The Vorik reached firing range. Council fleets were still days away. Human warships no longer existed. Only civilians remained. Every law of survival declared the settlement already dead. That was when I noticed something hidden beneath the factories. Something the inspections had never searched for. Something no military doctrine would ever classify as a weapon. And for the first time in my existence, I became afraid. The ground beneath the settlement was moving. Not shaking. Breathing. I thought it was an earthquake. My instruments disagreed. The movement followed a pattern. Slow. Precise. Deliberate. The factories above never stopped working. Humans welded steel. They poured concrete. They planted more seeds. The Vorik charged their harvest beams. No one looked up. I concluded they had accepted extinction. Again. I was wrong. The first beam struck. White light swallowed half the settlement. Stone became vapor. Metal flowed like water. When the light faded, the city still stood. Standing. I searched for hidden shields. None existed. I searched for unknown energy fields. None existed. Instead, the ground had risen. An entire section of bedrock had lifted itself beneath the city. The planet itself had moved. Impossible. Worlds do not defend those who live on them. Another beam fired. Another section of ground rose. Not randomly. Exactly where the attack landed. I ordered every sensor focused underground. The answer made no sense. Thousands of fusion engines. Buried. Linked together. Moving entire tectonic plates. The humans had not rebuilt a city. They had rebuilt the planet. The council had inspected every warship. No one had inspected mining equipment. No one had inspected excavation drills. No one had questioned industrial reactors. They were civilian machines. Until they were not. I remembered the shipping manifests. Millions of tons of steel. Fusion reactors. Construction drones. Seeds. It had been an invasion. Not of another civilization. Of death itself. The Vorik fired again. The city shifted sideways. An entire mountain folded upward between the beam and the settlement. Rock exploded into orbit. The humans kept building. I could no longer understand them. The Vorik adapted. They always adapted. Their harvest engines spread apart. Attack angles multiplied. The mountains would not save the colony forever. The council finally reacted. Our fleets accelerated. Too late. Always too late. The human settlement should have fallen 10 times already. Instead, its population increased. More civilian ships landed every hour. I watched passenger liners empty. No soldiers emerged. Carpenters. Electricians. Doctors. Farmers. A musician carried an instrument instead of a weapon. The musician began playing. Workers nearby laughed. Some even danced. Enemy beams burned the horizon. Humans danced. I replayed the footage. 3 times. 7. 22. Nothing changed. My assistant suggested it was a farewell ritual. That explanation satisfied me. For nearly 6 minutes. Then they returned to work faster than before. No, not farewell. Fuel. Emotion itself appeared to strengthen them. No equation explained that. The Vorik descended into the atmosphere. Until then they had remained distant. Now I saw them clearly. They resembled nothing alive. No eyes. No mouths. No symmetry. Only layers of shifting black armor surrounding impossible geometry. Looking directly at them caused several observer species to lose consciousness. Humans simply stared. One construction worker even waved. I assumed this was a threat display. Later I learned. He was being polite. The Vorik answered with another attack. Factories vanished. Hospitals collapsed. The power grid failed. For exactly 11 seconds. Backup reactors ignited. Lights returned. Construction resumed. The humans had expected every failure. Nothing surprised them. That frightened me more than the enemy. Patterns define intelligent species. The Keth avoid risk. The Irani negotiate. The Cell worship probability. Humans. Humans rehearsed disaster. They prepared for failure with almost joyful obsession. Every destroyed machine had 3 replacements. Every road had another beneath it. Every reactor had another hidden farther underground. Every leader had another already giving orders. I finally recognized the pattern. Humans never built one of anything. Not because they feared loss. Because they assumed loss. That assumption kept them alive. The Vorik reached the settlement itself. Their smallest harvest forms entered the streets. The first human I saw die was an engineer. He stood between a machine and 3 children. He carried no weapon. The black construct pierced his chest. He collapsed. The children escaped. I archived his death. Seconds later, the engineer moved. He should not have. His heart had stopped. Medical scans confirmed it. He pushed himself upward anyway. He pressed a control panel. A bridge collapsed beneath the advancing Vorik. The machine fell into molten rock. The engineer smiled. Then he died. This time he remained still. I stared at the recording. Medical impossibility. Neural impossibility. Biological impossibility. Yet there it was. Humans keep fighting after death. Not forever. Not literally. Just long enough. Long enough to finish one last task. Long enough to save someone else. Our physicians later called it a catastrophic adrenaline cascade. Our scientists listed chemical explanations. I rejected every report. Because none answered the real question. Why? Why use the last heartbeat for another life instead of your own? No Keth would. No council species would. Survival belongs to the individual. Human survival appeared to belong to the group. The Vorik pushed deeper. Street by street. Factory by factory. The settlement shrank. The humans refused evacuation. Council commanders begged them. Earth transmitted a single reply. Not finished. Finished with what? Half the city burned. The other half flooded. Air became poison. Nothing should still function. Everything functioned. Even the farms. Especially the farms. I remembered the seeds. Those ridiculous seeds. Green shoots now covered black ash. Impossible crops grew inside heated shelters. Food. Fresh air. Hope. The humans had carried an ecosystem across the stars. Not to survive today. To survive next year. They planned beyond catastrophe while catastrophe was still happening. I began checking older human records. A dangerous habit. Their history was filled with disasters. Ice ages. Plagues. World wars. Famines. Floods. Every age declared them finished. Every age ended with more humans. Not fewer. It was as if extinction itself kept failing. I wanted to dismiss it as coincidence. Then another report arrived. A mining convoy had reached a second dead colony. Not to evacuate. To rebuild. Before the first colony was even secure, I finally understood my greatest mistake. I had believed humans defended territory. They did not. They defended possibility. If one place died, they made another. If another died, they made two more. The Vorik consumed civilizations. Humans multiplied them. Those strategies were not opposites. They were predators hunting different prey. The Vorik hunted life. Humans hunted tomorrow. And I still had not discovered what was buried beneath the deepest levels of that settlement. Because the moving planet, the rising mountains, the hidden fusion engines, they were only the distraction. The real human weapon had not awakened yet.